Good afternoon. Welcome to Meru Networks. Let me introduce myself. My name is Srinath Sarang. I'm one of the founders of the company. I also happen to be, in my current role, the general manager of our hospitality business unit. Yeah. And we'll talk more about that as we go along. So thank you for coming out to Meru. Many of you may not know this, but we've been around for a long time. Long time in Wi-Fi history terms. We've been around since 2002. The company was founded in 2002. We took it public in March of 2010. We've had some pretty good customers along the way, and we've come up with some pretty interesting technology, which I'm sure you want to talk about. We, over the last year and a half, decided to reorganize the company around three of our core focus verticals. And the three focus verticals are education, healthcare, and hospitality. There are a lot of other verticals that we still play in, but these were the three verticals that the management team believed would be the best for us to focus on based on our value proposition, our competitive differentiation, where we see a majority of a common use case. And that's kind of where we split the company into three functional groups, each headed by a general manager. What that allowed us to do was to be very vertically focused, allowed us to understand what drives that vertical market. What's the driver for Wi-Fi in education? It's a kid in a classroom coming along, 40 of them coming along at the same time, opening out their laptops or their iPads or whatnot, getting onto the network in a few seconds, going through a 40-minute period in the class, and then getting off the network, and usually taking your device in a higher school and walking across to another classroom. So that brings about various aspects of mobility, density, the necessity to come on at the same time, all of which are the core fundamentals on which Meru was founded. So that was one of the drivers in education. In healthcare, it's the ability to take your network and have multiple network layers, if you may. I might want to have a public access network for the families that are in the hospital. I might want to have a life-critical network for devices that absolutely have to get connected and will not and cannot get disconnected from the network. Mission critical. And then there is a level in between, things like nurse communication, devices for electronic medical records, which can be in a network that can suffer a little bit of pause, but the other network, the life-critical, absolutely cannot see a pause, right? And hospitality, which is sort of a vertical that is defined around a concept of a guest being in a network from a few minutes to a few hours to a few days. So if you take that paradigm and you apply it, you've got everything from hotels, conference centers, airports, stadiums, planes. You have Wi-Fi on planes, which we do supply to, by the way. Cruise ships, we do supply to cruise ships. And all kinds of other things that you didn't think of as a guest access network that now become reality because you have density in all of those places. You've got a plane with 100 plus users streaming video and looking at video through the in-flight equipment. That becomes interesting. So with that was a quick introduction to Meru. If you have no questions, I'm going to flip on to the next slide. No questions? Okay. We're headquartered in Silicon Valley. We've got offices in 22 countries. We've got customers in 65 plus countries, pretty marquee customers. We're not going to go into that today because the focus is about the tech field day, and we're going to go into other technology-related aspects. Quick look at the exec staff. Our CEO, Dr. Bami Bastani, joined us about a year and a half ago. Our CFO, our SVP of Sales, and our SVP of Operations up on top there, Keith Matashi. And then followed around by Manish Rai, who is not here, unfortunately. This also happens to be summer. Kids are off school, so he was on PTO. Otherwise, I'd love to meet you. Bob Schiff, who's here in the audience, our VP of Product Management and Engineering. Catherine Mancuso, Human Resources. Tom Palamaki, who heads up our support. Mark Liu, General Counsel. Sarosh Vesuna, who heads up our education and healthcare. And myself on the list, head up our hospitality and our cloud operations. So with that, we got a seasoned team that essentially defines and drives the strategy and the execution of Meru Networks as we go forward. With that, I'm going to hand off. I've been out all of this last week at customer engagement speaking, so I'd definitely love to take a break and not have to speak. But I will be around and be happy to answer any questions that you may have.